Hey guys, you're welcome back to my channel today. Thank you so much for stopping by. In this video, I'll be drafting out the upper bodies of this Milkmaid dress with Queen Anne neckline. If you're interested, keep on watching and let's get started. I already have my pattern paper. I'll go ahead and start taking my points. The first point I'll take is the distance from my shoulder to my bust point, which is 10 inches. The next point is the distance from my shoulder to my under bust point, which is 13 inches. And the last point is the distance from my shoulder to my waist point, which is 16 inches. I'm going to indicate all these points with a dot and I'll rule straight lines across. After doing that, guys, I'll go ahead and label my lines. I have the bust line, which is 10 inches, the under bust line, which is 13 inches, and the waist line, which is 16 inches. The next thing I'll do is to place half of my shoulder measurement on the shoulder line. The shoulder line is the start of my pattern paper. I'll indicate that with a dot. After doing that, I'm going to take my neck width, which is 3 inches, and the neck depth 3 inches. Okay, so I'll be using 3 by 3 inches. After doing that, I'm going to go ahead and connect the neckline. The next thing I'll do is to take my shoulder slope. So on the point that I have, which is half of my shoulder measurement, I'm going to go down on that point by 1 inch for my shoulder slope, and I'll stand from that point into the neckline area. So guys, next thing I'll do is to go down by half of my round armhole measurement because I want to get my chest line. Okay, I'll go down and I'll indicate that with a dot. Another way to get your chest line is to go up by 2 inches from your bust point. So I'm going to indicate half of my round armhole measurements and I'm going to rule a straight line across that point. So I'm going to label this line my chest line. After doing that, I'm going to place my tape on the shoulder line. The same thing that I have there, I'm going to place it on my chest line and I will indicate it with a dot. After doing that, I'm going to connect the dot on the chest line to meet the dot on the shoulder slope. Next thing I'll do is to place my tape on this straight line and I'll find the middle point. What I have there is 7 inches. Half of 7 inches is 3.5 inches. I'll indicate the 3.5 inches with a dot. On that dot, I'm going to come inward like this by half an inch. I'll also indicate the half an inch with a dot. On my chest line, I'll place my bust circumference divided by 4. I'll also indicate that measurement with a dot. After doing that, I'm going to use my curved ruler to connect from the shoulder slope to meet the half an inch and from there to meet the dot that I have on the chest line. Next thing I'll do is to take my nipple to nipple measurement, half of my nipple to nipple measurement. So my nipple to nipple measurement is 8 inches, half of it is 4 inches. So from this center front, I'm going to mark 4 inches on the waistline, 4 inches on the under bust line, and 4 inches on the bust line. I'll indicate the 4 inches with a dot and I'll connect the 3 dots into a straight line. After doing that, I'll go ahead and take in my dart. So on both sides of this straight line, I'll be taking half an inch and I'll connect from that point to meet the bust point like this. After taking my dart, I'm going to place my tape on the under bust line and I'll go up by 1.5 inches. So look at the way I'm placing my tape. From the under bust line, I'll go up by 1.5 inches. I'll indicate the 1.5 inches with a dot. And then I'm going to place my tape on this curve that I have on the armhole area. Whatever I have there, I'm going to divide it by 2. What I have is 2 inches, half of it is 1 inch. So I indicated the middle point. What I'll do is to place the curved part of my ruler to connect from the 1.5 inches that I went up by on the under bust line. I'll connect to meet the dart leg. After connecting, this is what I have. On this other end, I'll place my ruler, on the dot that I have on the armhole area. I'll connect from that point to meet the dart leg like this. After doing that, this is what I have. Okay, this is the cup we'll be working with. The next thing I'll do is to determine the neckline. As you can see on the thumbnail, the neckline, the front neckline is quite deep, so you get to determine where you want yours to start from. I want mine to start from the chest line. Okay, you can go down if you want. So on that chest line, I'll connect into the armhole area as you can see me doing. Okay, so this is what I have. So you can go ahead and do any shape that you want, and then I'll blend the cup to meet the armhole area as you can see. After doing that, I'll go ahead and start placing my measurements. On the bust line, I already have my bust circumference divided by 4. What I'll do is to add my stitching allowance. On the under bust line, I'll place my under bust circumference divided by 4. I'll replace the dart that I have here and I'll add my stitching allowance. On the waistline, I'll place my waist circumference divided by 4. I'll replace the dart and then I'll add my stitching allowance. After doing that, I'll connect the dots together. So guys, after connecting, this is what I have. I'm going to use my marker to trace out the parts that we are going to cut out, just so you guys are not confused. So this is what I have. I'm going to go ahead and blend the neckline well, and then I'm going to cut. Pay close attention so you know where to cut. So guys, after cutting, this is what I have. I didn't cut the cup area because I want to use this pattern to cut out the back. Okay, just so we don't draft out the back from the scratch. So what I'll do first of all is to take my zipper allowance, because the back is going to have a zipper and I'm using 1.5 inches as my zipper allowance. I'll connect like this and I'll label it my zip. After doing that, I'm going to now place the front on this fresh piece of pattern paper. I'll pin down. After pinning, I'll go ahead and trace the sides, okay, the armhole area, the shoulder area. And for the neckline, I'm going to come up a bit. Okay, I'll just come up a bit. I won't make it as deep as the front. After cutting, this is what I have. So what I'll do is to mark the chest line and the bust line on this fresh pattern paper, just so I know where the chest line and the bust line is. As you can see, I've indicated it. So what I'll do is just to rule straight lines across. Indicating the lines, I'm going to drop this and we are going to continue working with the front. So I'm going to go ahead and create the Queen Anne neckline. To do that, from my shoulder width, neckline width, I'm going to come inward by 1 inch and I'll indicate the 1 inch with a dot. After doing that, I'm going to create the shape that I want for the yoke. Okay, so as you can see on the thumbnail, it has a little bit of curve before it was slanted into the armhole area. Then you're going to determine how wide you want it to be on the chest line. I took 3 inches for now. So what I'll do is to connect like this in a curvy way, and then I'll slant from that curve to meet the 3 inches dot on the chest line. I hope you guys are not confused. After connecting, this is what I have. What I'm going to do is to cut out the cup. I will also cut out the yoke. Okay, so just pay close attention so you know where to cut. Okay, so we don't need this part of the neckline anymore. We are just working with the yoke, okay, and the cup. So after cutting out, this is what I have, guys. I'm going to now remove the yoke from the cup. So guys, on this yoke area, I'm going to take about 0.25 inches from the center, okay, just so it sits well after attaching it to my dress. Okay, so go ahead and do that. Okay, so I'm going to cut it out. After doing that, I'm going to label my yoke. I'll also trim off this side from the front armhole area, okay, because this is for the front. We've already used it to draft out our bag, so I went ahead to just trim it off. After doing that, guys, these are the patterns that we'll be needing for the front. I'll go ahead and close the darts for this area, okay, because I don't want to cut out two pieces of fabric when I'm cutting. So I'll just close the dart, just fold it inward, and then use your masking tape to hold it down. The next thing we are going to do now is to slash and spread. So we'll be slashing and spreading this cup to get that Milkmaid effect on the front of the cup. So go ahead and indicate your chest line, the line that we have on the chest line. As you can see, I used my marker to just make it more visible. So guys, I'm going to measure what I have on this cup, and I'll be slashing it by 1.5 inches. So it depends on how you want the effect to be. If you want it fuller, you can slash by 1 inch. It depends on what you want. Okay, so I'm taking 1.5 inches at different intervals. Okay, and you can see me indicating the 1.5 inches with dots. After doing that, I'm going to connect all these dots into a straight line, and I'll label. So please label, know where your center front is, and your center front should be number 1. As you can see, I made a mistake and I'm labeling it backwards, so your center front should be number 1. Okay, then after labeling, I'm going to go ahead and slash through. So I have number 1 to number 4. I'm going to spread this on another fresh piece of pattern paper. So go ahead and get a new pattern paper, and then you're going to rule a straight line across the pattern paper. Okay, so make sure you indicate where your center front is, number 1, and also make sure you know where your chest line is. The first line on the pattern paper is your chest line. Okay, you're going to use that chest line, that particular line, to spread it. So I've gone ahead to rule straight line across this new pattern paper. What I'll do is to start spreading. So this is my number 1. The chest line is supposed to sit on this line that I have on this new pattern paper. I hope you understand. So on my cup, I have the chest line and the under bust line. The chest line is the one on top. Okay, so before I start spreading on this center front, I'm going to go out. Okay, I'll leave half an inch allowance there. Okay, and I'm going to place my pattern paper. I'll use my masking tape to hold it down. So now you're going to determine how wide you want the cup area to be. Okay, so if you are busty, you can spread by 3 inches. Okay, me, I'm spreading by 2.5 inches because I want the gathers in front to be full for me. That is why I'm spreading by 2.5 inches. So I'll place my tape from the other pattern paper and I'll go out by 2.5 inches. I'll indicate the 2.5 inches with a dot, and then I'll bring number 2. Okay, make sure that line, that chest line, is sitting on this line. Okay, I'll place it like this. I'll use my masking tape to hold it down. Okay, after doing that, I'll place my tape again and I'll go out by 2.5 inches. Okay, I'll bring in number 3. So don't forget that your center front is number 1. Okay, I'll make sure that this line is sitting on the line that I have on this new pattern paper. I'll use my masking tape to hold it down. I'll spread again by 2.5 inches and I'll bring in number 4. Okay, I'll place number 4 on that dot. Okay, and I'll use my masking tape to hold it down. After doing that, I'll go out by another 2.5 inches. As you can see, my pattern paper is not enough for me to spread, so I'm going to just add another pattern paper to continue spreading. Okay, I'll insert the pattern paper underneath this one and I'll use my masking tape to hold it down. Okay, I'll mark my 2.5 inches. I'll first of all extend the line to meet the new pattern paper, and then I'll go out by 2.5 inches and I'll place number 5. I'll use my masking tape to hold it down. After doing that, I'm going to trace the shape that I have. So go ahead and take your time to do this, okay? And after tracing, I'll go ahead and add half an inch all the way around the cup, okay? Go ahead and do that. After doing that, go ahead and cut. So guys, after cutting, this is what I have for the cup. You can see that my cup is quite wide, so we are going to gather the base of this cup together to give it that ruffle. I went ahead to also indicate my center front so I know where it is, okay? So these are the patterns that I'll be needing for the front, okay? I'll use my masking tape to hold the darts down as you can see me doing. And for the back, guys, we've already drawn out the lines. What I'll do now is to take in my dart just like we did for the front. I'll take half of my nipple to nipple measurement, which is 4 inches. I'll take the 4 inches on the waistline and I'll do the same thing on the bust line. After doing that, I'll connect the 2 dots into a straight line, and I'm going to take half an inch on both sides of the straight line and I'll connect to meet the bust point. Next thing I'll do is to draft out the yoke. So to do that, I'm going to repeat the same process that I did for the front, okay? So remember I went out from the shoulder width by 1 inch. So I'm going to bring in my front yoke. I'll place it on it like this and I'll just trace out this shape that I already have here. I'm going to trace it out. So guys, I'm going to place my tape on this yoke and I'll measure what I have there. I'll make sure that I have the same thing on this back yoke, and then I'll go ahead and label my yoke. After doing that, I'll adjust my zipper area. I took out half an inch from the 1.5 inches that I have on the waist area, and I'll connect like this. After doing that, guys, I'm going to go ahead and cut, okay? After cutting, guys, that is all for the back. I'll go ahead and also take out the 0.25 inches that I took out from the yoke for the front, okay? So guys, that is all for this tutorial. This tutorial is just all about the drafting. I don't know when the sewing tutorial will be out, but I hope this was helpful, okay? Don't forget to like this video. In case you don't know how to join it, I'm going to leave another link where I sewed a Milkmaid dress, okay? I also cut out the down part of this dress in that particular video, so I'm going to leave the link of that video in the comment section. You can use that video to stitch your dress. Also go ahead and close the dart for the back, just so I don't have to take in my dart when I'm sewing for the back. So go ahead and fold it like this and then use your tape to hold it down, okay? After doing that, guys, these are the patterns that you'll be needing for the back. Yeah, I hope this tutorial was helpful. Don't forget to like this video, leave your questions in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.